It's story time. So there's a lot of creators out there doing this. People who've been through bad relationships, people who are going through custody battles, people who have, I don't know, just had obstacles to overcome and extreme circumstances that are larger than life that could probably get them put on a Netflix series, are doing these story times. So I'm going to be doing story time, and I'm going to be talking about my covert narcissistic ex-mother-in-law, soon to be ex-mother-in-law. So, and the reason why I chose to do this is because, like, I have tried to just move on with my life, and I've tried to just, straighten out all the tragedy that took place. And this person just is totally obsessed with watching everything I do on social media. I went to court, and there was literally like 2 dictionaries thick of my Facebook posts, of, screenshots from YouTube videos, TikToks, whatever. And I was on the stand, and I made a comment, and this person's lawyer said, "Oh, well, you don't know who gave these to me." Well, that just told me exactly who. And another thing that happened was my last video, I pointed out that she is doctor hopping with my son, and he has had enough thyroid medication prescribed to actually harm him, to kill him, actually. And I'm trying to do the right thing. I did not even want to return him. As more and more things come to light, my lawyer actually discovered that it wasn't 2 within 30 days. It was 3 prescriptions that he had been given. One was not even put on his chart. We got to figure out why. The endocrinologist had prescribed him 2 in 60 days, and there was a middle doctor in the middle of that. So in March, April, and May, he had gotten 3-year-long prescriptions. And the questions have to be asked. Number 1, why is this woman taking my son to a doctor when I live an hour away if the father can't do it? Number 2, why is she getting prescriptions without the endocrinologist's approval? She has a history of Munchausen-like behavior, and since she stalks everything I do, we have gotten to the point of worrying about his safety big time. Huge. Not just me, but attorneys. So since the bullshit just won't stop, and I have pretty much been just living my life. I get up, I work out every day, I work, I babysit other people's children, I take care of like just normal life stuff, go to church, do Bible studies, and the drama will not stop. And so we're just going to start having story time. And it's funny because here of late, I already knew some of the tactics, the lies, really good manipulation. I just thought, well, maybe this will help other women out there. So when I meet my ex, the first thing his mom does is barge up in his house while I'm there, doesn't knock, and just kind of asserts her authority over him. And this went on for a while, and I let it go. A little while after, I don't know if we were married yet or not, she gives this big, long speech about how she didn't have any females, she didn't have any girls, and she always wanted to have girls, and she just wished she had a daughter of her own, and, just makes it seem like she just wants to welcome you in her arms and her family. And really good manipulator. One year she got me a diamond necklace for Christmas. Just seems so sweet on the outside, goes to church, sings in the choir, and all this. And then little things started to unravel and happen that were just way over the top. We just ate up with jealousy, and I remember having a conversation when some of these traits started coming out. They say a covert, and we're going to move into this because since practicing holistic medicine, I realized they say the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. So I began my own search of healing after going through an abusive relationship, and I actually started school for being a holistic practitioner. And in that schooling, I learned how manipulation, words, all of that stuff actually could traumatize a child. I believe my husband is very in a manipulative, narcissistic, abusive relationship with his mother. And studying that, going to therapy, and learning about how all these tricks work, I started to just kind of try to undo the damage done to me, physically, mentally, spiritually, and look at how it may have affected him and my children and anybody in that situation. So basically, shit rolls downhill. So she's an abuser, and she transmutes that to all the people in her family by total control, manipulation, lies, and then they learn that habit as well. So if that makes sense, and I'm going to go into word resonation and how the Bible actually calls it like witchcraft, when we use our words to lie and gain control of a situation. So being, they also say that dealing with covert narcissistic women is like death from 1,000 cuts. They're not going to pull out a baseball bat and beat you up. Instead, they're going to plan your demise. They're going to talk about you behind your back, and they're going to lie to everyone around to get them to see you in a different way than what you truly are. So your true character might be loving, forgiving, nurturing. They're going to do everything they can to destroy that, and it takes time and lots and lots and lots of lies. And it's kind of just opening up this new section I was fixing to do on a mother wound. So many of us have been raised in society where either the father isn't present because he's working a lot, or maybe a single parent home. And that baby boomer age contains a lot of what we were calling Karens, but they're actually narcissistic, entitled, overgrown brats. They are women who seek to control the narrative through any means necessary, most often with their mouth, manipulation, playing the victim, stuff like that. So I'm going to go into a whole different video later today about resonating words and a mother wound. I was doing a segment in July that I stopped because I've had several personal things concerning my son hit me all at once. And I needed to handle it legally. I needed to deal with it and process my own emotions about it and how to effectively handle situations. Okay, so back to crazy things my narcissistic, soon-to-be ex-mother-in-law does. Well, I know she watched the video the other day about me talking about her doctor hopping, because I mentioned in there how if I had truly been beating kids to unconsciousness, the children that showed up with my ex would not be waving and smiling, so now they don't show up anymore. She literally watches everything. That right there is a sign of extreme jealousy and extreme mental illness, to make your life about stalking. And she's called my work. So let's talk about some crazy things. So when I separated from my ex in 2021, I was living in Tupelo at a domestic violence shelter. And I was working at this cute little Pakistani restaurant in Tupelo. And they noticed every weekend, I don't know if he was going out on dates and she wondered if he was with me or if she saw a Facebook post, I don't know. But every weekend they would get phone calls, and the question was, is Melissa working? And they would go to find me, and then I would come back to the phone, nobody was there. And it took about 3 times in a row, and my manager was called in, got involved, and they were like, yeah, somebody's calling. They're not asking to speak to her. They just want to know if she's here. And the way I found out it was my mother-in-law was I mentioned it to my ex, and he said, that was my mom, just don't tell anybody. So everybody in the family is trained to cover for her, because she obviously has done so many off-the-wall things. They don't really want it to get out. And so about a month ago, I had the same thing happen at my current work in Starkville, one of my jobs, and I'm like, this is starting back up again. Now my son's got all these prescriptions and doctor hopping, so we're gonna have to turn loose of the faucet. I have been quiet and not said a lot for a long time, and we're not gonna go with that anymore. We're gonna start speaking the truth. Another thing that she does besides stalk and call and check up is she will try to guide the narrative, and there's going to have to be a part 2 to this story time, so keep watching. I'm almost at the 10-minute mark, so I'm going to post this video and then I'm going to talk about some other stuff.